Everybody doing all right?
Yeah.
So, Brian, how much paperwork did you have from those shots? That was the nightmare?
Well, we came back here Saturday, got here about 4:30, and left here about 8:30, and then we came in Sunday, got here about noon, and left about 7:30. And now I'm doing the stragglers, the ones that are a little bit more difficult. So
Wow.
we're getting there. But it was a learning experience. So we've learned what we need now, because we weren't we didn't know. We were told before, you get all this stuff, and then now we know exactly what we need. So it'll make it a lot smoother for the future. That's for sure.
Was the city gracious enough to give you free rent?
Yes, they've
Good.
been over backwards for us. I have nothing but compliments to say to the city.
That's great.
They told us basically we can continue to use their facilities whenever we're doing something like that.
Wonderful.
They've been over backwards.
Glad to hear that.
I think I told some of you that was the most impressive thing to me was all those people there that were there working that all volunteered. Every
Really?
last one of them. Yeah, because they wanted to get this pandemic stuff, get it behind us, and they all volunteered.
That is tremendous.
Yeah,
I did not realize that. So how did you reach out to them? Through the school?
Well, the School of Pharmacy had put out an offer to have students help out, because it gives them more experience vaccinations. They've all gone through the training. Every last one of them in the morning had done vaccinations, quite a few before. I had 2 in the afternoon that I had to train a little bit, that they've gone through the class and stuff, but haven't been where they've done many outside of the class. So I just needed to review some stuff. They knew what they were doing, though. They just needed more actual jabs. they were good by the end, that's for sure. So, but then the other kids, the other kids that volunteered were, some were speech therapy people with Libby, and some were just, they're friends of my kids, all of them that volunteered, but they had told them before, hey, if your dad does a vaccination clinic, we'd like to help. So
I guess the slowdown is the paperwork rather than the shot, huh?
Yeah.
So I was impressed. It went smooth. For you never have done one before. That was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it went good. We had a lot of good help, so that's what makes it.
Very good. All right. Anybody have any other announcements before we put our speaker on? We're just a quick reminder, make sure everybody saw the email. I had to move the board meeting till tomorrow morning instead of yesterday or next Tuesday. Both Tuesdays are all tied up for me. So we will see you in the morning for those that are on the board. All right. So I will turn it over to Dave, who will introduce our very famous speaker.
Well, and the one thing, George, I have to tell you, when I sent you a copy of the newsletter, and then I do it cheaply. I cut and paste. I mean, it's a lot simpler that way, and I don't always read what I'm putting out there, just in case y'all hadn't noticed. I did not realize you played professional ball. So we have a painter and a ball player with us, who will speak on something that's not quite related to either one, and I'm just going to let him take it from there. But I've known George through Facebook for a number of years. We have not yet to meet personally, but we were talking about how this time with Rotary and with Zoom and such brings people together that we would never be able to get otherwise. So I'm going to just George, it's yours and go for it.
Thank you, Dave. Life should be an exciting adventure. You should wake up every morning and say, Rotary, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve, to give something back to the community, to help the less fortunate people around the world to have a better life. I think that's why most people join Rotary. They want to make the world a better place. But unfortunately, many Rotarians are like many people. They really, really want to do something, but they just never get around to doing it. I think the reason is that they're in a box. I call it a conformity box. Now, when you're in a conformity box, you don't like change. You fear failure. You don't like to take any risks. But you know what? A lot of people are in a box. They're happy, so I don't have any problem with that. But if you want to soar like an eagle, you got to get out of that box. In order to get out of that box, you have to be able to do one very important thing. You have to be able to take action on those things you want to do. You must say, well, that's easy. I could do that. In reality, it's not very easy. Let's say you go to the doctor and you're 50 pounds overweight, and the doctor says to you, you know what, if you don't lose those 50 pounds, you're going to die. You say, whoa, wait a minute, I don't want to die. So immediately you say, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose that weight. I'll feel better. I'll look better. I'll get new clothes. All my friends will be congratulating me. I'll have less chance of getting a stroke or diabetes or heart attack or even dying. And you go on and on and on with all these fantastic things that will happen to you if you lose the weight. But why don't they lose the weight? Why don't they reach their goal? I think the reason is they don't look at the other side of the equation. I call these rotten, stinking deterrents. They want to sabotage your goal. So if you have to lose weight, you got to give up pasta, desserts, mashed potatoes, beer, martinis. You got to get on a treadmill. And all diets say you got to drink at least 8 glasses of water every day. Now, if these things become so powerful, and they are powerful, that they overwhelm the benefits, you're not going to lose the weight. So if you want to reach your goal, you have to get rid of those negatives, beat them with a stick, get rid of them. Then you'll have a chance of making your goal. When I was growing up, all I wanted to do was to be a Major League Baseball player. And with all due modesty, I was pretty good. High school, I was all state. College, I was all American. When I was in the Army, I was all Army. In the first year in the Boston Red Sox organization, I led the entire organization in home runs. I said, I'm on my way. I'm going to make it. And one day the manager comes up to me, he says, hey, George, we got a new bonus baby coming into our team. We want you to be his mentor. I said, what do you mean me? I can hardly take care of myself. He says, come on, George, you could do it. We want you to be his mentor. I said, okay, what's his name? He said, Carl Yastrzemski. Now, for those of you that don't know baseball, Carl Yastrzemski became one of the best players in the history of baseball. He's in the Hall of Fame. He becomes my roommate. So one day I hit a home run. After the game, I said, Carl, we got to go out. We got to go celebrate. He says, nah, I don't want to go out. I said, what do you mean you don't want to go out? I said, I hit a home run. You're my roommate. You got to come. He said, okay. We go there. We sit down. Waiter comes over. He says, what do you want to drink? I said, I'll have a Budweiser. I says, Carl, what kind of beer you want? He says, no, I don't want a beer. What do you mean you don't want a beer? All baseball players drink beer. He says, no, I don't want a beer. I said, what do you want? He said, Coca-Cola. I'm drinking my beer. A few minutes later, fan comes up and say, hey, George, nice home run today. Boom, he buys me a beer. Half hour later, another guy comes up and buys me a beer. Another guy buys me a beer. I get to the ballpark the next day. I said, I don't know if I can play. My eyes are bloodshot. My head is pounding. I don't know if I can play. I look out in the outfield. There's Carl. He's doing wind sprints, push-ups. Needless to say, he made the major leagues, and I didn't. I'm 86 years old. I think about that all the time. I didn't have the ability to take the right action on what I really wanted to do in life. And I regret it to this day. Back in 2006, when I was living in Florence, Oregon, this little town, and I was going to become president, a lady came and talked about installing stoves for the poor Mayan Indians in Guatemala. Afterwards, she asked for volunteers. I volunteered. I had never done anything like that in my entire life. So I go to Guatemala. These Indians, Mayan Indians, they live in these little huts. They have dirt floors. They have 3 stones on the ground, and they put the wood on that. They light up the fire. That's how they keep warm. That's how they cook. They do everything. They had no windows, so you couldn't see a foot in front of you. Young girls, 13, 14 years old, they got babies strapped to their back. You know those babies were going to get sick. They're going to die. And then we put the stove in with a chimney through the roof, and all of a sudden, you could see in front of you. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I go out one day, I'm in the back, I'm on my hands and knees, I'm putting a stove together. I look up, here's this girl. She's about 14 years old. She's got this huge smile on her face. We couldn't communicate, but I know what she was saying. She was saying, Rotary, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve. And then she says, thank you for saving my life. For saving the life of my mama, my papa, my brother, and my sister, and all the people in the building. I know that's what she was saying. I got up off my hands and knees. I go over, I give her a big hug. And when I break, I look at her face, and she still had that huge smile on her face. It changed my life. I said, I gotta help these people if I can. When you do a grant, you have to have a Rotary Club in that country. So I asked if there was any Rotarian there that I could talk to. And they all say, oh yeah, you got to talk to Juan Carlos. I go up to Juan Carlos. I say, Juan Carlos, I'm going to be president of my club in a few months. What can I do to help your country? Without hesitating, he said, if you could supply clean drinking water, that would be great. All the kids and everybody they're drinking out of the river. It's like drinking mud. And the kids are dying like all the time. They get diarrhea, an awful way to die. If you could do that, that would be fantastic. I'll do it. I'm flying back to Oregon. I said, what did I just promise? Our club is 50 years old. We had never done a World Community Service project. We don't have any money in our budget. I don't know how to do the paperwork. I don't know how to raise the money. Oh, negative. Then all of a sudden, boom. Picture of that girl's face comes up, and geez, it was so powerful. I said, I'm going to do it. I called up a friend of mine from another club. I said, our club's going to do a humanitarian project. We're going to supply clean drinking water to the people in Guatemala. He said, oh, George, that's fantastic. That's fantastic for your club. He said, how big? I don't know how big. I know he wanted me to say something big. So I said, $10,000. It's $10,000. Nah, she said, that's not enough. You got to do at least 25,000. 25,000. How can I do that? How can I raise that much money? Our club doesn't have any money. He says, you just have to ask. Well, I was a stockbroker, so I said, yeah, I can do that. I got a list of all the clubs in the district. The presidents and the emails. I started emailing them. Hey, our club's doing it. It's a water project, and we're going to make the world better. I need your help. I need some money. 2 weeks go by and nothing happened. I says, whew, this is hard work, but I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. Come on, guys. I'll email them again. Come on. We need money. We're going to do good. This is what Rotarians do. All of a sudden, the money started coming in. And we funded it. And it was a fantastic feeling. So I did another one. And then I said, this is wonderful. Then I offered it to all the clubs in the district to do a water project in Guatemala. And I helped them. And they started doing it. And then I offered it to all the clubs in the United States and Canada. And they're doing it. We were supplying so much clean drinking water in Guatemala. It was fantastic. And then all of a sudden, for those of you that have been in Rotary for a while, Rotary changed the rules. They came up with this thing called a pilot program, where for 3 years, only 100 districts in all of Rotary, they can only partner with each other. Our district was not going to apply. So I called up all my friends in Guatemala and said, hey, don't apply. Because if you apply and you get to be one of the 100, I can't help you anymore. They didn't listen. They applied. And they became one of the 100. I said, I'm out of business. What am I going to do now? So all of a sudden, I get a message that somebody says, I want to be your friend. I don't even know this person. Boom, I put it in the garbage. A few days later, I got another message. I want to be your friend. Who are these people? I don't even know them. In the garbage. When I got the third one, I looked at it. It was Facebook. Oh, I looked at Facebook and said, all these Rotarians from all over the world. I said, wow, I'm back in business. So I'm going to pick a country. I'm going to help that country. So I don't know why, but I picked India. Yeah, a big country with a lot of districts. I looked up the district governors to find out if they're in Facebook. And I said, hey, want to be my friend? They said, of course I'll be your friend. You want to do a water project? Yeah, of course I want to do a water project. I'm doing all these water projects in India. Then I'm doing them in Nigeria, in Lebanon, in the Philippines. I'm doing all these water projects all over the world. It was fantastic. Make a long story short, since 2006, I've been able to help over 2 million less fortunate people in 34 different countries to get clean drinking water. How? I look back at that plane ride to Oregon, and I very easily could have let those negative thoughts overwhelm me, and none of this would have happened. So if you want to do something, get rid of those negative thoughts and make it happen. It's a fantastic feeling. I think every Rotarian should have a Rotary purpose. I'm not talking about my purpose is to go to lunch and meet my friends and listen to a program. That's not a purpose. Is something that you can say, this is my purpose. I want to make the world a better place. I want you to think about that. Do something that you can do and think about it. That would be your purpose. And you plan on it. You look at the negatives and get rid of the negatives. You wake up every morning and you say, hey, I got to work on this. I want to make this happen. Eventually, it will become a passion. And once it becomes a passion, there's no stopping you. It will help. And Rotary gives you this opportunity, so you should take advantage of it. Several years ago, I was invited to a PETS. It was a big PETS. That's where they trained the new presidents for the next year. It was like, I think it was three, five districts. I forget what it was. Big. They had 350 president-elects there. The place was jumping. I mean, these people want to be president. They want to change the world. They want to do good. I mean, it was really on fire. I talked about water. And at the end of my talk, I said, you know what? If you're interested in your year as president, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you want to do something with water, I can help you. I can find a project. I can give you a partner. I can help you with the paperwork. I'll help you with fundraising. I can help you. I can do everything. But you have to tell me that you're interested in water during your year as president. You're interested in something else? Fine. If you're interested in water, give me your card. Put it in this box here. At the end of the talk, I got up, I got 135 cards of president-elects, presidents who wanted water during their year as president. During that year, I bombarded them with information. I had all kinds of projects. I had all kinds of countries to work in. I did everything. I bombarded them with information every week, every email. At the end of the year, only 4 out of 135 took advantage of this and did something in water. That means 131 presidents who wanted to do something in water. That was what they told me they wanted to do something. They were unable to take action in this once in a lifetime opportunity. So again, you want to do something, you have to be able to take action. A few years ago, I went to the doctor for my annual physical. A few days later, he calls me up and says, hey, George, how you feeling? I said, I feel good. I play golf 3 times a week. I run around a block a few times. I feel good. I said, why are you asking? He said, well, the blood test came back. It shows that you lost half of your blood. What are we going to do about this? He said, well, you got to go over to the hospital. You get a refill. I mean, it took me a whole day to get a refill. I go back to him. I said, what now? Does some more tests. Comes back to me and he says, you have colon cancer. Jeez, I said, when you get told you have cancer for the first time, it changes your life. You think about all the great things that you've done during your life. But you also think about all those things you really wanted to do, but you never got around to do it. And you say, you know what, if I get another chance, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to do them bigger. I'm going to do them better. And I'm going to do them now. Not next year. Not next month. Not next week. I'm going to do them now. If you take that attitude in life, you'll be a better person. Your club will be a better Rotary club. And the world will be a better place. So if you want something to happen, you got to take action and you got to take it now. So what am I doing now? What I do now is I raise money primarily for water projects, water grants. Our club is very, very active. We do about 4 grants a year, mostly in Peru. I raise money for those grants. When I retired, I took an oil painting class. It was an adult education class. Myself and 20 ladies. Teacher told us, you do this, you do this. She supplied everything. At the end, I looked at my painting. I said, I like this. I like it. So I painted. I started painting and I didn't know what I was doing. I just kept painting. So one day I go out, I say, you know what? I'm going to use one of my paintings and I'm going to help raise money for water. Go out in the garage, I pick a painting I like, just 16 by 20. I framed it. And I'm going to put it on Facebook and sell it. I didn't know what to sell it for. I had never sold a painting. I said, I'm going to sell it for $500. My wife says, you're crazy. You'll never sell that for $500. I said, I'll sell it for $500. And I'll take the $500. I'll put it into a water project. I'll give the credit to the buyer towards this Paul Harris fellow. And I'll give him recognition points for the other 500. He buys the painting, gets a new Paul Harris fellow. I put it up there. I didn't know what to expect. 8 minutes later, I get a message from a district governor in Texas. He said, I'll buy it. I said, I'm a professional. I just sold a painting. I was all excited. I go out, run out to the garage. I get another painting. I put it up there and I sell it. I'm selling these things like crazy. And then I'm offering it to clubs. And I get it to the club and the club does a raffle and they're raising $1,000 for whatever they wanted to do in a humanitarian project. I offer them to districts. Districts are raising $5,000, $6,000. One of the best ones, I gave a painting to a district governor in Nigeria, and he had a foundation meeting. They raffled it off. They raised $7,000 on one painting. So it was wonderful, but it was hard framing them in a big box and all that. So now I do small ones. I used to do portraits of people. That was too hard. They all wanted to look like Paul Newman or Marilyn Monroe. So I kept saying, change this, change that. I hated it. So now I do pets. People the pets don't talk to you. And people love their pets. So I do pets. They're oil. They're 14 by 11 inches. They're unframed. And I ship them free for $150. Let me show you Baxter. This is my little boy, Baxter. I do it with one palette knife, no brushes. Here's Baxter. So I did that. I take $150, I take 100 of it, and I put it into the water project for your credit. And the other $50 covers my expenses. I've done hundreds of these things. So let me end with a challenge for you. There's no use talking to you and entertaining you for a half hour without getting something out of it. I learned that a long time ago. Here's the challenge. I want your club to raise $1,000 for our water project. How do you do that? All you got to do is get orders for 5 pets. A dog, a cat, a horse, I don't care. 5 orders for $150. So the $100 goes into the water project. I'll match the $100. So $200 will go into the water project for your personal Paul Harris Fellow. All you have to do is do five portraits. It's easy. And all you gotta do is send me a photograph. Give me your ID number. No, and it's very simple. The best one so far, a club in New York did 9 portraits. So you could do 5. Don't let. Some of you are thinking negative, Nathan. I don't have a pet. Who cares whether you have a pet? Somebody in your family has a pet. Your neighbors have pets. Some of your friends have pets. There's no excuse. I don't have any room on my wall. Yes, you do. Put it right in front of your computer. Put it right over here. I look at Baxter every morning. I put a big smile on my face. I love Baxter. So you can do it. That's my challenge to you. And I think you can do it. Remember, life should be an exciting adventure. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I appreciate everything. I'm going to open it up for questions, comments. Anybody have anything that they'd like to address?
Well, George, you may have a customer with me. We had to put our oldest dog down about 10 days ago. And when my wife comes home from work now, she expects him to meet her at the door. And he obviously is not there. And so it's been, and so I may be on the hook for one. So that's.
How do we go about getting this from you, George?
Well, let me say something about that. 30% of the pet portraits that I do are for pets that have passed away. People want to remember their pets. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So do we email the picture, and how do you transfer funds?
Okay.
You
Simplest way is if you're on Facebook, friends, you can do it. But if Dave has my email address, you email me. I want a picture of the dog, primarily the dog's face. I don't do the whole body, their face, and then I crop it. And then I tell you I need your Rotary ID number so I can get your Paul Harris Fellow. I need your address. Those 2 things. So I do it. I paint with a knife, so the paint is thick, so it takes about 2 weeks to dry. At the end of 2 weeks, I put it in a box and I mail it to you. It's that simple. And then when I accumulate enough money, I send it to my club and give you Paul Harris Fellow credit for the donation. Simple. And if you're on Facebook, we'll become friends. I put portraits up every day. I do them fast. I shouldn't say that, but I do them fast, and I do them. I could do one almost every day.
And as far as payment, check sent to you, or how does that work out?
Okay. What I do, that's a good question. What I do is I have a 501c charity. I send that to you. You click on it, and there's a donate thing there, and you hit on donate and use your Visa card or whatever, and send the money in that way. It's as simple.
Very good. And where you said right now you're doing water in Peru?
Our club is very, very active in Peru. We do about 4 big grants every year. We visit the members visit the site. We have a fantastic partner NGO out of South Carolina called Water Mission. They do everything, and sustainability is no problem because Water Mission has what they only deal in countries that they have employees at. So if something goes wrong, they have equipment there to replace it, and they take it. They go to the community. They get the community buy-in. They do everything. So in the beginning, when I started doing this, sustainability was a terrible problem because the clubs in the countries we were working in. Sometimes they change offices, they lose interest, a part goes bad and they can't find a part, and then it's gone. Not with us. The Water Mission is fantastic, and they've been doing this for years and years.
What's the cost of a water project, each of the projects?
No, I don't get involved with it very much. I remember when I first started, you could do a grant for 13,000. It's called a matching grant. Now the minimum's 33,000, I think. And our grants are usually bigger, 50, 60. We've done 100,000. We've been doing this for years. And so we have a really big network of clubs that support us. So we could do the big projects.
Is that one well?
It's not necessarily a well. It could be a refining system, take the water out of a river, make it clear. We leave that up to Water Mission. They could do a lot of different things. So we leave it up to them. They're professionals at it. Rotarians are not professional. They're certainly not professional Rotarians in the countries, but Water Missions are professional. We leave everything up to them. We do the fundraising.
Very good.
Very good.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, George, I have followed your paintings on Facebook through the years, so it's really good to meet you and see enthusiasm of the Rotarian behind the project. So
Thank you. Thank you.
we will.
I'll be in touch with you. You could be sure of that. So
Sounds great.
good. Have a
Thank
good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, everybody.